Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are back next day. I ended the video on the engine, and all I did was I pretty much put it somewhat together for a few pictures. I don't know why, I just like doing it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pull the intake horn off, the turbo off. Literally it's like 2 bolts, and get this thing ready to stab in the truck. We already got the one motor mount on. I'm gonna throw our new wire loomed ECM, or I just rewire loomed the ECM harness. We'll throw that on. I got to get all the brackets to hold the harness back on, so I'm gonna get that done, ECM mounted. Once we finish that, I'm not sure what we're gonna do with a belt yet. I have a botched kit that allows you to run an electric water pump. If we have to run a regular water pump and a fan pulley, so be it. I would like to not, but if that's the way it ends up working, that's the way it ends up working. And we have our Midwest 480 here, and then shout out to my man Jim Arendant in Illinois, polished our turbos for us. So a lot of black polished theme with this. I really wanted it to go in this truck and just really pop, mixed with a little bit of razzle dazzle on there still. But let's go ahead and get to work on this. Clayton is going to help me. He's just not here yet. I'll throw this in the truck, and then hopefully we get the trans stabbed. Again, off camera, I went through the transmission. We ended up having it beat the intermediate spacer down a little bit, so we threw a new intermediate spacer on. End play went back into spec. I believe I had to replace the billet Belleville spring and then pretty much the forwards, and that was it. So all in all, not bad. I think the forwards, that Belleville just finally collapsed. It's been in there for 2.5 years at line pressure. That's probably way too high for it. So kind of a wear and tear item. Anyway, now let's go ahead, get this thing dressed so it can go in the engine. Okay, help has arrived, and while I was waiting, we got the fuel lines. Most of them switched over to AN. The only one that's not is this, because I don't have a 120-degree fitting here, but everything else is AN. We have our reloomed harness on here. I have our flex plate on now, and literally all we gotta do is lift it up, put that one motor mount on. We do have the A2 race fan pulley hub delete and electric water pump kit. I'm not sure if we're going to use this or not, but I had it, or I think this is David's actually, but we are ready to install. We'll get you guys set up on a time lapse when we go to drop it in. Being that this is a deck plate, even with our cowl mods, it's still not going to fit as good as our normal stuff. So we might actually go in with only one motor mount. I haven't really decided yet, but that is kind of where we're at. Even with, so you figure a deck plate, you gain an inch, and we gave ourselves about an inch and a quarter. So it's going to be still a pretty tight fit. Half the reason why you do a lot of that cowl clearance is so if you do have to pull the cylinder head on this, you can get all the crap out. Push rods, injectors usually come out without, but head studs and stuff, it makes you being able to swap the head in frame versus having to pull the whole engine out. So I know that there are companies and shops that do not modify it, and that is totally fine. But when you go to pull it apart, that's when you're going to find out why that clearance is important, to get it out quickly. So let's get this thing ready to go. Okay, so we have our fire pump lifting bracket on here. Again, I see it all the time. So here we have dual CP3s, fully dressed engine, deck plate filled. So, you know, we're gonna lift it up with these two little bolts here and get this thing tossed in. Tell you what, guys, when you're good, you're good. It's tip forward. If we tip the motor back the way it should, we just have push them or lift up on the front of the motor a little bit, Clayton. Haha, yeah, buddy. All right, we're gonna lift it back up. I just wanted to check clearance before we put the diaper on. I'm just kidding, I forgot about the diaper. So let's get the diaper put on and then we'll finish install. Okay, we are installing the trans. Again, we refreshed it, got the T-case on it, fresh converter. After 2.5 years, I think it was time to send that one in. And let's get this thrown in the truck. We have got the transmission all the way in, and I finished painting the underside of the truck, so it's now all one color. I took the tape off of the shocks. We could throw our rear drive shaft in now, but everything is in. I just got to throw the cross member in here, and then we'll get this sucker down. And then from here, it's quite simple, really just a little bit of wiring, plugging everything back in, and then The only additional thing that I did was we went ahead and put our low car locking dipstick in while it was on the lift. So fuel lines, wiring, cross member, drive shaft, and this thing will be pretty much ready to go. I gotta do the belt as well. I keep forgetting about that. So we'll get the belt on there too, and let's pitter patter. And just like that, just kidding guys, this took a long time to get to this point, but motor mounts are tight. Trans is all done. I gotta put fluid in the trans. Engine has oil in it. Dipstick's installed. We have our serpentine belt routed with the correct pulleys. Our alternator installed. We have our bungs for the fire punk kit installed. We have our power steering hooked up. We have all of our wiring harness with the exception of the intake horn hooked up. All of our fuel lines are hooked up. I'm going to get the battery charger on this tonight. And we have our just a single turbo installed on here. Really, I just do it so it's a little quieter, because like straight piped is very loud. Now, being that this engine has ran on this cam, we're not essentially trying to do a cam break in, but we do want to get the engine hot, get the rings seated, and also get that retorque on before we start adding coolant into the mix. Oh, what a day, guys. A day when we started this video, it had no motor. 12 hours later, it is ready for first fire. Now, I don't want to be the guy that leaves you on a cliffhanger, but I'm trying to keep these videos a little bit shorter for you guys. So I'm going to end this one here. Engine's fully installed. Trans is fully installed. All we need is to charge the battery, and we should be able to crank this thing for oil pressure. So I'm going to kick off a fresh video on the first fire and hot retorque of this unit. After that, we have quite a few wiring issues to take care of for the nitrous. We have some interior parts that got to get pulled out so we can add fire suppression. We have dyno appointments. We have track time scheduled. It is 33 days till we are competing at UCC as I film this video. So chop, we got to get to it. But really solid progress this weekend. I just wanted to get the hot retorque done. Going into Sunday, this is where we sit. The engine looks freaking killer. I love it. Big fan. It just the right amount of black, a little bit of splatter, a lot of polish. This thing looks phenomenal, I feel like. Let me know in the comments how you guys think we did. And we also got our engine diaper installed as well. So safety stuff going into UCC. We have everything but a roll cage. Like I told you guys, I could care less about drag racing, and I mean it. So we're gonna roll in there without it. More than likely, we'll probably just get to run maybe 1 or 2 times, and then we won't have the proper equipment, but I'll have everything else: fire suit, fire pants, helmet, neck gaiter, gloves, fire suppression, drive shaft loops, drive shaft scatter shields. We have stainless steel valve stems. We have personally disabled the airbags, which is good. We have our trans blanket, our engine diaper, our locking trans dipstick, locking engine dipstick. We have our electronic kill. We have cross bolts in our exhaust. I mean, everything we can have except for a roll cage. I'm even licensed, as you guys remember, a long time ago. I actually just renewed my license, so we have everything to be as safe as possible except for a roll cage. Realistically, a roll cage just affects myself, and that's kind of how I've always justified it. Right, wrong, indifferent, whatever. But anyway, guys, hopefully you like this one. Drop that comment down below how you feel we did on this. Keep in mind, we are going to run compounds. This is just for break-in. But since it's a deck plate, we do have to make a new kit. No big deal. Let me know how we did. Subscribe if you're not already. And as always, guys, I'll catch y'all on the next one.